Hand 6. So this is the final hand I played, which may give you some indication as to how it went for me. But here's the spot. It's 800, 1600 with a 200 ante. An amateur who I don't have a particularly strong read on, but looks from his demographic as being kind of a middle-aged guy that he's probably not going to be too loose or aggressive, raises to 4500 under the gun, and MP1, who's a looser reg, calls. We have a stack of about 40,000 in the small blind. The question is, what do we do with all of our hands? Now, I'm pretty rarely going to be flatting in this spot because of the effective stack. For instance, if I have a hand like pocket deuces, if I'm deep with these guys, that can be a great spot to flat. But here, I have 800 out there, so it's going to cost me 3,700, and I'm getting implied odds of only about 12 to 1. And so I'm not going to be flatting too often. I'm mainly going to be 3-bet shoving hands that are strong enough to do that with. Now, the hands that are profitable to 3-bet shove are going to depend on a lot of factors. The amateur's open and call ranges, the range that MP1 would initially flat, that he'd call a shove if the amateur folded, that he would call a shove if I shove and the amateur calls or 4-bet shoves, as well as the big blinds range for cold calling. But as a quick and dirty way to look at this, we can say, look, most of the time the guy we're concerned with is the amateur who's on a tighter range. And what range do we put him on? And how do our hands, possible hands, do against that range? So here I would put him on a range of just roughly 7s plus, ace-jack offsuit plus, ace-10 suited, and king-queen suited. And against that range, the hands that are probably going to look good against it are going to be something like 10s or jacks plus, ace-king, ace-queen suited. So I would tend to shove in-game a range of, say, 10s plus, ace-queen suited, and ace-king offsuit. In the actual hand, I shoved with jacks, the big blind folded, the amateur flatted, MP1 called, and I lost the flip against ace-queen. Now, while the outcome isn't what I was exactly looking for, it is a decent spot. If I knew, for instance, that that was going to happen, well, not that I would lose, but that I would get a heads-up all-in pre against the ace-queen with a lot of overlay from both the big blind, all of the antes, and the flatter, who subsequently folded, I would still have shoved and take a very subsidized flip to have a nice chance at increasing my stack and accumulate chips, raise my chip EV for the hand relative to folding.